Hello! Today in the lesson we will solve another example where we will use the rule of addition or subtraction of rational numbers and multiplication of rational numbers. In solving this example, we will apply the rules. The example looks like this: minus 6.25 minus the number x times 3 plus the number y, and we need to multiply all of that by the number 5/17. We need to find the value of this expression when x is minus 3 and is minus 4 whole 5/10. Let's solve this example. Let's substitute the values of x and y into our example. Let's write down minus 6.25. And when we substitute the values of our variables, I want to call attention to the next step, the next entry. I'm writing according to the condition of the example, minus 6.25. Then comes the minus sign. I write it down, and instead of x, I have to write the number minus 3. So, minus 6.25 minus, because that's what's written in the condition. And the number x is minus 3. Be careful when you substitute values for variables. Why? Because if I write down the values of our variables incorrectly, then in that case my action will change. And then I'll get the wrong answer. One more time. In the first parenthesis, I have the difference of the numbers. Minus 6.25 and the number x. But x is a negative number. And when I perform the action, we can see that two consecutive identical signs are written down. And that's going to make a difference. Let's move on to the second parenthesis, multiply. 3, again, I'm writing down plus. And instead of y, I write the number minus 4.5. The result is an example in which the second parenthesis is 3 plus minus 4.5. And this product needs to be multiplied by 5/17. And now, after we've written down the example and written our values instead of variables, we'll solve it. First parenthesis, minus 6 whole 2/5. We see two consecutive signs in the entry. Two minus signs. We remember that the rules say that two minus signs give us a plus sign. The result is minus 6.25 plus 3. Multiply. We apply our rule to the second parenthesis as well. 3 plus minus the number 4.5. We can also leave this notation and add the two numbers with a negative sign. Recall the rule. To add two numbers with different signs, I must subtract the smaller number from the larger modulo number. Minus 4.5 is the larger number. Then 4.5 minus 3 is 1.5, but 4.5 is a negative number, so I put a minus sign in front of 1.5 and multiply by 5/17. And then we do the math, minus 6.2 plus 3. In this case, I will subtract the number 3 from the number minus 6.25. The result is 3 2.25. But 6.25 is a negative number, so I'll put a minus sign. Multiply by minus 1.5 and multiply by 5/17. Equals to multiply rational numbers with different signs. The number minus 3 whole 2/5 multiplied by minus 1 whole 5/10 and multiplied by a positive number 5/17. I have to remember the rule. And first I need to count the sign of our result. We see two negative numbers when I multiply two negative numbers. Minus times minus. I get a positive number in the answer. So the result of our multiplication is a positive number. All that's left is to multiply these fractional numbers. Let's remember, to multiply a mixed number by a decimal fraction and by an ordinary fraction. Let's write it all down as an ordinary fraction. 3.2/5. 3 I multiply by 5 is 15, and plus 2 is 17/5. Note that I have already counted the sign of our answer. The result, that's why I don't write down the plus sign. Minus times minus is a positive number, so I write 17/5 times 1.5 and multiply by 5/17. You can see that I did not write the number 1 whole 5/10 as an ordinary fraction. Why not? Because I see that I can multiply the two multipliers, 17/5 and 5/17, and then I'll write down 17/5. Applying the transpose property, I move our multiplier, 17/5 times 5/17, and multiplied by 1.5, in this case 17 and 17, I can divide by 17. 17 divided by 17, 1, 17 divided by 17, 1. Now I'm 5 and 5, I can also divide by 5, 5, 5, divide by 5, 1, 5, divide by 5, 1. And as a result, we see 1 times 1 is 1. And in the denominator, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. And the result is 1 multiplied by 1 whole 5/10, as I need to multiply the number by 1. And the result is the same number. That's why I didn't write the decimal fraction as an ordinary fractional number. In the next lesson, we will write down the rules for division of rational numbers. Today, our lesson has come to an end. Goodbye, and see you again.